Are you ready to be empowered with hope, faith, and confidence to believe in yourself, to overcome your fears and battle through every challenge and bully you face, both real and in your mind? Are you ready to learn life-changing strategies on how to develop the right mindset and positive mental attitude to courageously stand out in the crowd and be who you were born to be? Well, you've come to the right place. Welcome to the Building Warrior Confidence Podcast. Greetings and welcome to another uplifting, life-changing episode of the Building Warrior Confidence Podcast. Well, how are we doing today? Well, hopefully you're having a great day, and this episode is just going to make it even better. But maybe you're not having a great day. Then I'm hopeful that this episode is exactly what you need to turn your day around and kind of right that ship and get the week going in the right direction. Well, I'm your host, Master Rich Grogan, and I'm truly blessed and so very grateful for your time. And as always, I promise I'm going to do everything I can to, respect and appreciate and value that time you choose to spend with me here to make it empowering, valuable, enjoyable, and educational. So what are we talking about today? Well, I'm going to tease you a little bit before we get into it. And it's I just got back from Illinois. It's the lessons from going back to Illinois and the Martial Arts Academy. That is now, was Grogan's Academy of Martial Arts, but Master Nathan Wilkening changed it to Goshen Academy of Martial Arts in honor of the kind of a heritage name of the town we live in, Edwardsville, or lived in, I guess. Anyway, I got a chance to go back on Friday night and help out with several different things on Friday night, and then our BlackBelt testing on Saturday, and I'm going to share all that with you. But before we dive into that, I want to remind you, and if you haven't listened to the previous episodes, make sure you listen to those after you're done with this one, of course. So listen to this and then move on to the other ones. But some of the episodes we have in the past, and I've still got my notes up on that one, is because it's been one of our more popular episodes, which is fantastic. And I thank you every single week for listening and subscribing and sharing, because that's how we're going to make society a happier, healthier, and safer place to live. And ultimately, that's kind of our biggest goal here: empowering people with that hope, faith, and warrior confidence to believe in themselves. And when people are happier and healthier and mentally healthier, the mental health, right? That's a huge part of it. And obviously I do what I can to share ideas and tips and strategies. And of course, the physical health and spiritual health are just as important. But to help you battle through the challenges, because life is tough. It's not easy. And, my goal is to empower you with what I can to help you power through those days, to battle through those days that are tough. And then on the days when you're feeling good, to help, boost that confidence even higher, so you've got that strength, you've got that built-up fortitude for when you really need it. But anyway, one of the episodes I've gotten all kinds of likes and comments on, so thank you so much for continuing to share it. And it was done a few weeks ago. It's, am I good enough? It's a question I know I've asked myself, maybe not out loud, but in my mind, countless times, and judging by the feedback and a lot of people I talk to, that's a big one for them too. Am I good enough? Well, of course, the answer is a resounding, you doggone right you're good enough. Why? Well, look at the talents, look at the gifts, look at the blessing that you are. And oftentimes we forget to count our blessings and to look in the mirror and see what a gift we are. Oftentimes, especially when we're feeling down, all we see is what's wrong, all the negatives, all our flaws. And then we focus on that. Oh, everything's wrong with me. Oh, I'm not perfect. Well, the real truth is nobody's perfect. But you are a gift from God. You have perfect qualities that no one else will ever have. But we need to make sure we focus on those qualities. So check those episodes out when you're done with this one. And of course, I love the comments, the feedback, the 5-star reviews, and everything else. And then obviously our YouTube channel, if you have not subscribed to that, it's the @ symbol, Warrior Confidence. It's all one word, Warrior, WARRIOR, CONFIDENCE, Warrior Confidence. Check that out. We've got 2 to 3 new videos airing each and every week. And then I'm also working with the shorts. I guess most YouTube subscribers know what that is. This is all new to me, so I'm learning as I go with the shorts. But I'm going to start relaunching those a couple times a week as well. Sound good? All right. Well, how about this? How about we just dive right in and get going with this episode? Sound good? Well, this is episode number 338, and I titled this Lessons from Illinois and our BlackBelt Testing. So I kind of mentioned it earlier. What I did was, and those that are new to the show, listening for the first time, I owned Martial Arts Academy in Edwardsville, Illinois, which is southern Illinois, just about 35 minutes outside of St. Louis, Missouri. And I grew up in a little town called Granite City, and on a farm. I was a farm boy, hockey player, and all those things. But as far as the Martial Arts Academy, you owned that for, I guess, roughly 26 years. And then in September of last year, I sold it to our senior student and our senior instructor, Master Nathan Wilkening. He's a total rock star. He's been with me, was with me 17 years, and I'm blessed that he's a student of mine and an excellent instructor, excellent human being, and he received his Master Martial Arts certification, which is fantastic, 4th degree black belt. And I actually just talked to him, and I'm blessed to be able to talk to him as often as I do. He went to an event not over the weekend called ProMac, the Professional Martial Arts College, and continuing to learn and grow. But anyway, he bought our academy, and he was the right person for it, and has continued to do amazing, wonderful things. So if you are listening, I know I still got a lot of listeners and a lot of friends in the Edwardsville, Illinois area, and also surrounding cities and towns. So make sure you check it out. He's doing an incredible job. So if you're a kiddo or yourself, you're lacking confidence or belief in yourself, or you just want to learn some self-protection, or you want to take a women's self-empowerment workshop, or, he's also doing speeches in the classrooms at schools when school ramps up again in the fall. So keep that in mind. And it's called Goshen's Academy of Martial Arts now, but you can still find it if you type in Grogan's Academy of Martial Arts. So special shout out to Master Nathan Wilkening there. And I'm going to talk a lot about him and and my experiences this past weekend, or I guess it was, in Illinois at the BlackBelt Testing. So we flew in on Friday night, and we had a TNT. He picked me up at the airport, and Master Wilkening did. And we had a TNT, and we call TNTs our teachers in training, or TNTs like dynamite, right? It's our leadership development program. And the kiddos go through, and I'm sharing this with you because those that listen often, I try and give you tidbits for, every area of your life, as a parent, as a coach, as a leader, as a business owner, as someone who's maybe a motivational coach, or if you're needing the motivation and inspiration. So what we do with our TNT program, our leadership program, we have the kiddos, even at a young age, what they have to do is they have to fill out like an evaluation form, almost like for an interview, right? So they fill out this form asking why they want to be a part of the leadership team. And one of the simple questions is, do you want to be a part of this to help others grow, or do you want to be a part of it just to boss people around? So it's you kind of think about that in your own life, right? If you're wanting a position or an advancement at work, or if your kiddos wanting to be a part of something, it's a very basic question. And obviously the answer we're looking for is they want to be able to help others, not just boss others around. But it gets them thinking, and then they go through a little interview process, even at a young age, to kind of learn that. And I know that from being a part of the academy, that nothing's given, everything's earned, because society and life is going to make you earn everything. So that's kind of our foundational principles there, is teaching them right off the bat. They don't get a uniform for the first few weeks they're there. They get a T-shirt to feel a part of the academy, but the precedence is all about, I've got to work hard to earn something, because that's how it's going to be in life. And those that listen a lot, I think the greatest travesty of all times is giving kiddos a trophy or a grade or a medal or a ribbon or a belt or a stripe or anything else that they really haven't put forth their very, very best and earned. Because what we're doing then is we're teaching them that you don't have to work hard. You just show up, or have mom and dad pay enough money, or have you throw a temper tantrum and you get what you want. Well, obviously, I think that's the worst thing we can do. And oftentimes the rebuttal I get from a lot of folks is, my son or daughter is not as talented as this kid, or not as good as this kid, or not as strong as this kid. And so we can say, we never evaluate on athletic ability or talent. We evaluate on attitude and effort. And I think attitude is your fuel that drives you in your mind, kind of the mental attitude drives you to you're wanting to put forth your very, very best. And then that effort just comes along and does what the attitude has drove it to do, put forth your very, very best. It doesn't mean you're going to win every time. Doesn't mean you're going to pass every time. Doesn't mean you're not going to have setbacks and failures. But that attitude and effort, that positive mental attitude, and that kind of unstoppable, determined spirit, man, that's going to help you rise above the crowd, help you get back up, not if, but when you've been knocked down. And our black belt principles, the first one's humility, and that's all about being humble enough to realize all I know is I know nothing. That's not mine. That's Socrates. But and then the final black belt principle is perseverance. And perseverance is all about having that strength, that fortitude, that inner drive, that desire to get back up, not if but when life kicks your butt, knocks you down. And I always say that, and that's another episode. I forgot what number it was, but it was just recent. We talked about which muscles are you working this weekend. It might have been the last episode. Anyway, you're working your perseverance muscles or your give up and quit muscles. And whichever one you condition and work on a regular basis, that's going to rule your life. So if you get in a habit of just giving up and quitting, if you get kids get in a habit of being rewarded for not putting forth the effort or the work or doing their very, very best or having the right attitude and right amount of effort, they continue getting rewarded for that. Well, then they're not going to put forth the effort, because why would they? Right? Yeah. So at that perseverance and those perseverance muscles, you work those, because it's not a matter of what, like I said, if, but when life kicks your butt. You've got to draw on those perseverance muscles to get back up. And something I used to talk about all the time, and I talk about in a lot of speeches when I talk about the perseverance and give up and quit muscles. The give up and quit muscles, if you start working those, well, that's going to be your go-to. Anytime things get tough, anytime things get hard, you're faced with any struggle, fear, or challenge, well, your go-to is, you know what, it's not worth it. I'm just going to give up. We get in the habit of doing that. Not only do we start giving up sooner and sooner and sooner and sooner, but that's all we condition ourselves to do. And it's the same thing with kids. That's why we focus so hard on helping them, guiding them, and then making them earn it. And when I say making them earn it, they're the ones that have to earn it. We don't do it for them, because out on the street, and hopefully they're never faced with a physical confrontation, but bullying that starts off as, the verbal or the exclusion or the shaming. Well, if nothing's done to stop it, then it will escalate to the physical. So we want the kids to know how to protect themselves, because we can't be with them all the time. So that's kind of a tie-in on what we do with our leadership program, helping the kids right off the bat establish that presence, that understanding. And then they go through a series of forms they have to fill out, videos they have to watch, so many hours of assisting in the class, and then the sheets and the modules, all kinds of other stuff that's built into that. And it progresses all the way up through. They start off as what we call a STORM initiate. STORM is special team of role models, and they move on from there. But anyway, that was Friday night. Got a chance. They have a little high five board. If they get 10,000 high fives, then they get a special party. And Master Wilkening helped, bought pizzas for him and movie night. So that was a special treat. But then and then I got a chance. I stayed with Nathan on Friday night, and we had a great discussion talking about the academy, talking about any questions he had, and then also about ways that we can continue to make things better. And I'm a big believer in the CANI. I had a brain freeze there. CANI stands for constant and never-ending improvement. And it doesn't mean we don't celebrate the victories, but also don't sit around and celebrate too long, because the next challenge is sure to come your way. So that's always thinking about kind of and there you go for your leaders out there, your entrepreneurs, your business owners, kind of have that attitude, right? And happy but not satisfied. Enjoy the success, but also realize the success won't continue to last if you don't do anything to continue pushing and driving it forward. Just like a fire, if you got a fire started, well, sooner or later those logs are going to start to burn out, right? So you got to keep adding wood to the fire to keep it going. If not, it's going to go out. And, once it goes out, it's very, very difficult to relight that thing. Once our fire, our passion goes out, it's very difficult to kind of get that going again, right? So let's keep it going. Zig Ziglar would always talk about, a lot of times folks would say, well, that motivation stuff that you talk about, that just doesn't last. It doesn't. It just wears out and runs out and goes away. And he says, you're right, it does. He goes, that's why we recommend it daily. Just like bathing. If we don't bathe daily, develop an unpleasant scent, right? Yeah. So, no, motivation doesn't last. Neither does bathing. That's why we recommend both of those things daily. And hopefully with the podcast, you chose to take time out of your busy day. And I'm going to do everything I can to not only thank you, because I'm very grateful, because I know time is the most sacred commodity on the planet. So I promise you I'm never going to waste your time. I'm going to continue doing all the research I can, continue to learn and read and study to have new information or information maybe I've talked about before, but just a newer approach. And that's another thing Zig would always mention, to listen to things more than once, or to read a book more than once, because each time you listen to something more than once or read a book more than once, you're going to be hearing or reading at a higher level than you were the first time or the second time or the third time. So you're going to pick up things that maybe you hadn't picked up before. An example, I know I've read, I don't know, and I'm saying if it's a book you don't like, or if it's a podcast or a message you don't like, well, if you want to give it another shot, that's fine. But if it's not for you, it's not for you, and that's okay. But if it's a book you really enjoy, like a book I've read, oh my goodness, so many of them, like The Big Leap. That's a fantastic book by Guy Hendrickson. And then The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. The Alchemist, another fantastic book. But each time I've read those books again, or second or third time, and obviously all the Ziglar books, I hear something that I swear, or read something, if I'm listening to the audiobook, I hear it. If I'm reading it, I read it, I see it. But I swear that it wasn't in there before. It's like, man, oh man, did someone come in my office here and rewrite this book? Because I swore I've read this book 5 times and I don't remember reading this. Or I've listened to this audible book or this speech by Zig Ziglar probably 15, 20 times, and that's the first time I've heard that. Well, the whole point is, anytime, like I mentioned before, you listen or read something a second, third, fourth, or fifth time, your mindset is going to be different than it was before. Maybe if you'd never read a book before or listened to a podcast before or anything inspirational before, man, that's a lot to take in all at once. So there's no way you could absorb all that. But you listen again, now you're at a little higher level. Maybe the time you listened to it or read the first time, you were really down. Man, you just weren't feeling it at all. So something's better than nothing, right? So you got something, now you're listening again, like, oh my gosh, I missed that the first time. So my point of all that is read and listen to things multiple times that are helpful to you. And then, of course, take notes. And I'll be honest, I've got, goodness gracious, I look over my bookshelf here, 24 full binders full of notes from different conferences and just different thoughts, writing down. And I need to do, honestly, a better job of going back through and looking at those. And that's something I thought about, too, is doing podcasts more often and just starting with those binders and start going through them, just reading my notes. It'd be a good refresher for me. And I think the notes would be really good for the listeners because I'm constantly being asked different questions about different conferences I've been to, different speakers I've had the pleasure and the opportunity to meet and become friends with, and the different books I've read. And, those listening, I've written 2 books now. Well, I guess 3. I wrote a small little book with Tom Ziglar, Zig's son, called Road Trip. And it's all about the guardrails in life. And meaning there's guardrails on the highway, and they're there to keep us from flying off into the embankment. Well, oftentimes in life, we don't have guardrails in our life, and before we know it, we've drifted far beyond the embankment, and we're end up in the other lane, or my gosh, over on the other side of the road. We're like, how in the heck did this happen? It's because that drift happens, and I've talked about that numerous times in other podcasts. But that ties into kind of what started talking about with the TNT and the can-I attitude, the constant never-ending improvement, and then kind of continuing to self-educate and learn, and then surround yourself with people that are going to help you get to that next level, help you get to a higher level. And I've mentioned many, many times, and I talk about in my book, engines and anchors. And engines are the ones that drive, push, and motivate you to higher levels. They believe in you, and they believe that you've got a gift, and they believe they're going to that you can obtain and achieve whatever goals you set for yourself. Or maybe you don't even have any goals, but those people make you feel like you can do anything. Those are the engines, and those are the people you want to surround yourself with, obviously, as much as you can. On the other side, and we've all got these in our lives too, anchors. Anchors are the ones that kind of hold you down, pull you down, keep you down. They anytime you want to talk about having goals or aspirations, they're the ones that maybe throw water on your fire, so to speak. Because I've had it countless times. It's like, who do you think you are, Richie? You're nothing but a dumb, poor farm boy. You're really going to do that? You're really going to own a business? Oh, yeah, you're really going to write a book? You're really going to have some exercise videos? I had exercise videos back in the late 90s, early 2000s called Kick to Get Fit. But these are all the things that I'd heard before. And the worst thing that can happen is you start believing that negativity. Yeah. Now, I often say you want to cut the ties, cut the rope, get rid of the anchors in your life, because the anchors are doing nothing but pull you down. And that's probably where I get the biggest, rebuttal, if that's the right word for it. People say, well, I can't just leave my friends. I've been with them forever. I'm not saying you have to leave them, but I'm just saying maybe spend a little less time with them and start spending a little more time doing something that's going to help you feel better about yourself, help you grow, help you utilize your unique God-given talents to be who you're born to be. And sometimes a lot of those anchors will just work their way out of your life. Now, I'm all about encouraging and motivating and trying to help everybody you can. And we would talk about climbing the success ladder. And I visualize this. You're climbing a ladder of success. You're reaching for that next rung because you know you're made for something better, because you are. You're made for something greater. You know you've got a unique talent that you want to share with the world. You just may not know how. But you start surrounding yourself with those engines, and they motivate you. So you're climbing that ladder. Well, it's always the right thing to try and reach down with one hand for some of your friends that maybe, they need the little help. They need you to help try and pull them up. However, I always warn, keep one hand on that next rung and reach down with one hand, to pull them up. That's doing your part to try and help somebody else. And I tell you what, that's the greatest gift of all, is when you're able to utilize what you've learned, the knowledge you've gained, to try and empower, to lift someone else up. Just like someone lifted, empowered, and helped you up. Yeah, man, giving back. Oh, it's beautiful. That reciprocity, baby. Back and forth. You're going to get more out of it, and you're going to learn more. Because it's one thing to know something. It's a whole other thing to try and teach, empower, mentor, coach, and educate somebody else. Because you're going to learn in the process. But as I mentioned, always keep one hand on the next rung. Don't ever, on that ladder of success, take both hands off and try and lift somebody up. Because what they'll do is they'll pull you to the bottom. And you'll be down there, and it'll be very difficult to get back up. You'll have to start that climb all over again. Now, doesn't mean if you failed before, you can't climb back up. I've been bankrupt twice, had our house foreclosed on, cars repossessed, miserable times. Now, I learned a lot. I learned a ton. So every time you fail or have a setback, you're really not starting over again. You're starting over with the new knowledge that you have, or the knowledge you gained from the mistakes you've made. So you're kind of strengthening that foundation. You're persevering, of course, and getting back up. So now you got the knowledge. Well, that didn't work. That ladder's broke. I'm not climbing that one. That ladder's broke. I'm not climbing that one. That ladder's going nowhere. I'm not climbing that one. That ladder, oh my gosh, I thought that was a shortcut. And by the way, there are no shortcuts. The only shortcut, well, let me step back. Success leaves clues. So if you're able to follow successful people, you're able to cut your learning time in half. You're able to hire good coaching, good mentors, good guides, leaders. That's going to cut your learning curve down as well. But you're still going to have to put in the work and the knowledge to do it. And I always advise, make sure you do your due diligence, easy for me to say, due diligence, do your work to make sure the coaches, mentors, leaders, and guides have your same core values, your same principles. Now, years ago, I don't say I didn't have any core values, but they weren't slated in stone. My core values now are honor, integrity, discipline, and respect. So every decision I make has to be rooted in those core values. And Zig Ziglar would always say, you can't make a good deal with a bad guy, or a good deal with a good deal with a bad girl, or whatever. A bad person, you could never really do a good deal with them. Don't try. Now, it doesn't mean you can't try and help them, but once again, climbing that ladder, you can't allow them to pull you down. And the story I always like to share with the pulling you down the ladder is the crabs in the bucket. If you're not familiar with the crabs in the bucket, it's if you ever went to the beach and you had your little sand bucket and you dug up some sand crabs and you threw them all in a bucket, well, those crabs, if they collectively work together, they could climb their way out of that bucket. They just climb on top of each other, make a little crab ladder, and then get to the top. The one little crab holds his pincher on the top of the bucket, reaches down, grabs the other one, and escorts them all out. Yeah, they could do it. They could all get out of it. But what happens is when one little crab tries to climb up to the top of the bucket, the other crabs freak out. It's like, where's he going? He can't be leaving us. Oh, my gosh. What does he think he's doing? So they'll pull him back down. Little crab will climb back up again. It's like saying, hey, guys, come on. Let's work together. Let's get the heck out of here. Let's go. It's freedom. Oh, no. No, you don't. It's scary out there. You're not going anywhere. We're staying in this together because we're safer together. It's kind of speaking for the crabs here. That's their mindset. But if that little crab persists and keeps trying to get out of it, they will tear his little pinchers off, tear his claws off, and kill him. And the next crab's like, son of a gun, I'd like to get out of here. And that was a pretty good idea, but man, oh man, I just saw what happened to Johnny over there. I ain't letting that happen to me. Well, unfortunately, the crabs in the bucket story is also a reflection on society. When you try and step outside your friend group or your group that, just kind of all going through every day's the same day, no changes in the past 3, 5, 10 years. And oftentimes it's so sad I'll run into folks and I'll say, hey, how's it going? I haven't seen you in years. Oh, about the same. like, oh, well, it's always, sometimes I'll say, about the same, man. We're older now. We ain't the same. We're either getting better or getting worse. And you got to be careful about saying that because, I mean, last thing you want to do is make somebody feel worse about themselves. But at the same time, almost if I don't say anything at all, man, am I really helping them? And then, of course, that gets into, is everybody meant to be helped? Well, I'm kind of going all over the place, aren't I? Well, the whole point of the story is, well, obviously climbing the ladder and talking about the lessons from the Martial Arts Academy. You know, I learn something each and every time. But I had a brain freeze there. About trying to help everybody. Another one of Zig's messages. I get a lot from Zig. Those that don't know, I'm a Ziglar speaker trainer and life coach, which I'm so blessed to be a part of the Ziglar family. But a big lesson he talked about is sometimes the worst thing you can do for somebody, are you ready for this? The worst thing you can do for somebody is to solve their problems. You may say, well, what the heck? Boom. That was a right hook reality. He said, because unfortunately some people, they're only happy or they feel comfortable when they're complaining. And if you solve their problems, now they got nothing to complain about. So what do? I know it sounds crazy, but I'm sure we all know somebody like that. Do you think, I would really like to help that person, but I would probably be doing them a disservice because now they wouldn't be happy because they couldn't complain because they like to complain. Yeah. Wow. That's a shot, isn't it? It is. So anyway, crabs in the bucket. Hopefully that helps you. Engines and anchors, perseverance, muscles. And I've talked about all these things on previous episodes, but I always like to tie back in, especially if it kind of goes with the message. And message that was talked about Friday night. And then Saturday we had our I got an opportunity to run a couple clinics with kids and adults, which was fantastic, and chat with the parents. And it's always a nice opportunity to meet the parents. A lot in the advanced classes, you know, I know a lot of those parents, but a lot of the beginners classes are tigers and white belts, beginners, yellow belts, orange belts, and stuff like that. I guess they've seen pictures of Master Grogan, but I've never officially had the opportunity to meet them before. So it was pretty fantastic. And one student in particular, oh my gosh! And I taught PE for 11 years in the Edwardsville School District. So I'd get kids that I taught PE would come in and take martial arts classes. Well, this kid was about 9 years old. I was his mom's PE teacher when she was in grade school. I'm thinking, holy smokes, am I really getting that old? But it was pretty cool. And I met the kid, and he's like, oh, you were my mom's PE teacher when she was a kid, and now I'm a kid, and I'm at the Martial Arts Academy. So it was kind of a funny thing. And the mom came up, and it was nice to meet her. And wowzers, think about that. My goodness. Yeah, I'm thinking about it right now. Maybe if you're a coach out there, maybe you're thinking about some of the players you have now that maybe you coached their parents at one point in time, or if a teacher or your martial arts instructor, or maybe you own a business and maybe when you first started off, you were friends with the parents and they drifted away and now you're hiring their kids or something, all kinds of crazy stuff. But that's life goes on, right? And if it doesn't go on, well, it's done gone. Then I guess we got nothing to worry about. But we're gonna think about it continuing to go on, and we're gonna try and do our best to make it the best, right? The rest of our life, the best of our life. Yeah, next day, best day, stuff like that. So the clinics went great. An opportunity to talk to the folks and the parents, and we had a great black belt testing and kind of how the process works is, as I mentioned, the biggest focus. Yeah, the physical ability, you have to have the physical technique in order to be able to defend yourself. I don't want to ever and neither is Master Wilkening, send a child out that isn't properly equipped to physically protect themselves. But the mental part is probably the biggest part. They have to do an essay, they have to read the essay and film it, and then they've got a list of questions they have to fill out and answer, and then they've got a like journal and workbook guide they have to work through during the whole testing process. And then the last day, the testing day, which was that Saturday, is kind of a culmination of all those things. Just being able to perform on the spot is what it boils down to. And there's always lessons to be learned about that. And students did fantastic. I was really, really proud of them. And we're humility being our number one black belt principle. We always talk about having there's always something to improve on. That way we continuously humble ourselves and continue to always improve and try and the can-I attitude, constant never-ending improvement. I mean, heck, I was talking to Dad afterwards, and I mentioned that to him. He goes, yeah, I can see that. I like that humble. I said, yeah, even he even asked, he goes, so I'm just asking here, but if you took the black belt test, would there be things for you to improve on? I said, are you kidding me? Absolutely, yes. I said, yeah, I mean, all the ones that I've done in the past, there's always stuff to make it better. And that's that attitude that, perfection is really unobtainable. But when you strive for perfection, you can achieve excellence in your own life and everything you do and, continue excelling to be better and better and better each and every day. So that's kind of the attitude and the mindset we have there. And obviously I'm telling you this, and I know that we have a lot of folks that own martial arts academies that listen, but I'm hoping you can apply this to any area of your life, parenting, your own personal life, or maybe you got goals you're striving for, or maybe you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, speaker, coach, or maybe you're just you need a little boost of motivation. This warrior confidence is what you're looking for. And as a reminder, what the warrior confidence is, it's almost like a protective shield that's built on strong core values. It's built on having a determined mindset and a kind of an unstoppable positive mental attitude to unleash that inner strength, that belief in yourself, and that, as I mentioned, that protective shield is that confidence shield. So not a matter of if, but when society tries to throw those negative arrows at you, man, you feel so good about yourself, they just bounce off. And let me think about this. You would never go outside or go to work or go to your kid's school or anywhere else without any clothes on, right? I hope not. Well, from now on, I don't want you going anywhere without your BullyProof armor on, your warrior confidence armor. And what is that BullyProof armor, warrior confidence armor? That's that belief, that strength in yourself. Because when you walk out in society, baby, that's when the arrows come flying, right? Yeah, you're not good enough, you're not strong enough, and you start questioning yourself. Am I good enough? Am I strong enough? Am I the best parent I can be? Well, I can't answer that for you. I ask myself that, and then when I ask myself that, it's very humbling, and that's kind of a prayer. My kind of prayer, what I do at night, I always pray for all the blessings first, and I find the more I pray for the blessings and give thanks for the blessings I have in prayer. Thank you for my wonderful family. Thank you for our health, our happiness, our financial stability. Thank you for this beautiful house we live in. Thank you for the beautiful weather. There's all the different things to be thankful for first, and then I pray for everybody's healings and blessings. But the last thing I pray for is for myself. I actually ask, I say, please help me, grant me the wisdom, the strength, the knowledge, the tools to be the best father I can be, to be the best husband I can be, to be the best leader I can be, the best entrepreneur, the best writer, the best speaker, best coach. Help me utilize my talents that you've given me, God, to be my absolute very, very best and to share those. And then, of course, help strengthen me to believe enough in myself to utilize those gifts. Because I get criticism too, just like everybody else. And if I focus on all that negativity, oh boy, it's going to bring me down. Once again, I got to realize that as I get a little older here, and it was a great conversation I had with Nathan as well about getting older, that he's 28. Fabulous, everything he's achieved at such a young age and what he's going to achieve. But that I've got to stop being such a perfectionist. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. I want it to be right, the best of my abilities. But if I wait, and this is a good one for entrepreneurs, if you wait till it's perfect, it's never going to be perfect. You're never going to get it done. You're never going to get it out, which I mentioned on the last couple episodes about the programs we're working on. And I've got to realize, look, I'm going to go with the knowledge I have. I'm going to release them out there. And if we need to make tweaks and changes along the way, we're going to do it. But it needs to be out there, because by me not getting these programs out, my wife's always on me about, look, people need the BullyProof program. They need the qualities of a champion kind of athlete program. And the coaches need that ABCs to have the qualities of a leader, qualities of a champion in order to empower others. And she says, well, you're not having those out there. You're really depriving people. And I'm like, well, thank you. I mean, obviously my wife believes in me, which is great, and helps me believe in me too. And she's an engine in my life, but she's never an anchor, but she's very humbling as well, which is a good balance, real good balance. You have to get yourself one of those, a good humbling, engined wife, I guess, that pushes you and humbles you at the same time. Or husband, spouse, whatever the case may be. But anyway, the testing process went really, really great. And then after that, an opportunity to chat with Nathan a little bit more. And then from then, I got an opportunity to go hang with some friends I hadn't seen in quite some time, which was really, really nice. I'll give a shout out to them. I know they listen all the time. I got to see my buddy Darren in spring and stayed over and hung out with them on Saturday night. And we talked about all kinds of stuff. And it was a great time spending time with them. And then Sunday got up and it was Mother's Day, so I got an opportunity to go and spend some time with my mom and dad, which was really, really good. And I probably spent more time with them on Sunday than I had in probably years combined. Shame on me, but I was glad to be able to do it. And here's the weirdest thing: those, they moved to Florida here, and it was really reluctant to move because everything I'd ever known was in Illinois. Family, friends, and business, and to be honest with you, it was kind of a big deal in Illinois. People knew me; I was a big deal. Well, being there for as long as I was, and teaching in the school district, and going to became Business of the Year in 2016 there. So it was kind of cool that people wearing my T-shirts around town. I felt like a big deal, but I swear, it was a tug at my heart. God saying, "Look, man, great. You did a lot of good here, and not that you can't do more good here, but there's a whole wide world out there." And Nathan, he needs the extra responsibility. He wants the extra responsibility. Let's turn him loose here. Let's challenge him, and that's what we did. But anyway, before we moved, that was a concern about friends and family. And the realtor, she actually told us. She says, "Well, she was from Indiana and she moved to Florida." She said, "Now when I go back, I see my parents and spend more quality time with them than I ever had before, because now it's," she said the words, "more meaningful." Because when I lived 15 minutes away, I could have went over there anytime I wanted. And for whatever reason, I got caught up in the hustle and bustle of life and didn't do it. So make sure you cherish that time. But anyway, it's just been kind of weird because every time I've gone back now, I spend more time with them than I did when I lived 15 minutes away. How crazy is that? But that's just the reality of things. But I had a great time with them, which was really, really good. And then I went over to Desi's mom, my wife's mom, and spent some time with them. And then I went over to my buddy Brian's house, and my friend Greg came over there, and we hung out the rest of the night. And then before I knew it, Sunday was over, and next it's Monday morning, and I got a chance to go and visit a few more friends. I got to go by the ice rink and visit my buddy Larry Thatcher, who owns East Alton Ice Rink. So if you're in that area, check him out. And he's a great, great guy, and he's hiring, by the way. So if some younger friends are listening and you like to be around the ice rink, check out that and jump on it. He pays well, and he's a great guy to work for. And then who else did I see? Tyler Albrecht. He runs Elite Hockey in East Alton there. Fantastic program. And then I got to see my buddy Tom Aller, which he and I were two peas in a pod in college. It's fantastic, and he's a PE teacher. It was kind of weird. Listen to this one here. When we went to college together, he graduated before I did, and but he got a job in the Edwardsville School District, and he was teaching elementary. Then he went to the middle school, was teaching middle school PE as he was coaching basketball. So I took his position as kind of the grade school PE teacher. And then after 10 years, I stopped teaching, and his daughters got older, so he started coaching their basketball teams. So he no longer coached the middle school basketball team, so he went back to coaching grade school again, grade school PE. Were you able to follow that? So I guess in a nutshell, I took his position as a PE teacher at the elementary level, and now he's taken what was my former position at the elementary level teaching PE. So, but anyway, we had lunch. It was fantastic talking to him. He's doing wonderful, and I got I was watching him. I got there a little early. I brought him lunch so we could sit down for 40 minutes. He had a 40-minute break for lunch, and he had the whole gym lined with equipment and different stations, and he's running his butt off. He's sweating, and I got goosebumps, and my heart went out. It's like, dang, Tom. I told him, I said, man, I love you, man. I love you, buddy. Look what you're doing. You're 46 years old, I guess, 47, and you're still out there teaching 8-9 PE classes a day, and you're out there having fun with the kids. You're taking the time to set up the stations and set up the drills and set up the format the lesson plans where the kids are active the whole time. It was fantastic because, unfortunately, a lot of times PE teachers get a bad name of just rolling the ball out and say, okay, kids, go do whatever you want to do. I'm going to, look up Facebook or read the paper or whatever PE teachers used to do. So the fact that he's doing that really warmed my heart. And, it made me think, too, because I thought back of, all the different things we'd set up at a martial arts academy. And then I see Master Wilkins get a lot of shout outs on this podcast, but he's earned it. The things he'll post on Instagram. of the stations they've set up for the kiddos to go through. And then we have parents' night out and this and that. But the whole idea is keeping the kids moving, keeping the kids active, not just, being lazy at it. And there's no other word for it. When you're not committing, you're being lazy, to help these kids, right? Give them heroes, mentors, guides, help them work and develop and mature. And physical fitness is, we all could use probably a little more physical fitness, and especially if we learn that at a young age. That's so important and so valuable. So, but anyway, after visiting with Tom a little bit, I actually stopped back by and saw my dad. My mom was at work one more time, and then headed off the airport and had a great little chat with Nate before I left. And then his Grandma Susie, who actually works at the Martial Arts Academy too, at the front desk, just making everybody happy and smile. She always takes a bunch of pictures too and posted there. She's like a social media guru without even knowing it. She takes all these great pictures of the class, and she's doing it because she loves it. She just loves being a part of it. But she helped us before we sold the academy, and she was such a blessing. Anyway, she drove me to the airport, and we had a great conversation to the airport, just talking about the academy and the Nathan and the family and what they're doing, what they're continuing to do, and it was just a blessing. So I got to the airport, and before I knew it, I was flying back, and 2 hours later, I was back in Florida, and beautiful wife Desi picked me up at the airport, and bing, bang, boom, and got to see my wonderful kids, which was fantastic. And I tell you what, that's if you've got kids, you know how, and even if they're older, boy, oh boy, when I got back, I could not wait to go give them each a hug and a kiss. Austin's going to have a birthday. He's going to be 23 real soon, and Madeline's going to be 20 in a week or two. Oh my gosh. And then my little buddy Emmett, 14. So just seeing them, man, and I tell, if you're a young parent with young kids, man, oh man, cherish that time with them. And of course, cherish that time with your family, because we never know when our last day is, right? Like to be, morbid and think of, of dying or anything like that, but we all are going to at some point in time. We never know when that day is. So as Kung Fu Panda says, treat the present as a gift, because it really is, and enjoy and savor that time and savor the gifts and the blessings that you have. And then, maybe with your prayers there, start off counting your blessings. And we all got things we want to improve on. We got areas that are flaws and areas we want to, not only improve on, but to get better at. But let's focus on the blessings we have and use that as our fuel, our motivation, our positive mental attitude, our unstoppable mindset and spirit to drive us to achieve the things that we want to achieve in life. Is that good? And I know that was, a little story time, I guess, on this episode, just talking about what I did over the weekend and back in Illinois and the lessons I learned. And I try and think of everything as a learning lesson, good or bad, learning from it. And the good things, try and repeat and make better. The bad things, learn from it and don't do it again, right? A mistake repeated over and over and over again is really no longer a mistake. It has now become a choice because you keep doing it. And I just read something as once again, another reminder is, not only the mistakes we made, but the mindset we use to get out of those mistakes. It has to evolve and change. The same type of thinking that got us into this mess is not going to get us out of this mess. We've got to evolve. We've got to change. We've got to think differently. So hopefully that little tidbit helps you out as well. Good. All right. Well, gosh darn. Well, thank you so very, very much, as always, for listening. As a reminder, if you haven't already subscribed yet, please do so. Please subscribe, and please, 5-star review. We love those 5-star reviews. Please give us one of those to help list us higher in the search engines. And also, if you found value, my goodness, share this with someone else that could benefit from this message and from the podcast itself. And please listen more than once. Therefore, you can pick up on what maybe you missed this first time. And then, of course, I keep pushing our YouTube channel because I'm doing so much with that, and I'm so blessed. I'm actually taking a course, like a college YouTube course on I guess how to learn all the different YouTube stuff, and to make sure I'm doing a little better job with the videos. And I've hired an editing company that actually puts in the music and the pictures and the images and the little video clips and the words and all that stuff that I have no desire or knowledge on how to do, and nor do I want to. But my goodness. Well, YouTube channel has 500 and something videos, but a lot of times the YouTube was just a housing site. I'd film a video and I'd just throw it on YouTube as just a place to hold it. Well, I'm doing a little bit more with it now to help grow that and get the message out with the Warrior Confidence. And so make sure you go check that baby out. Once again, it's Warrior Confidence is the name of the YouTube channel. Or you can get to anything and everything by Grogan's BullyProof. That's the name of our business. So our website is Grogan's BullyProof, or it's Warrior Confidence. I bought both domain names, and the same thing with the YouTube channel. They both direct you to the same place. So check that out and like, subscribe, share, comment on the videos too. I'd love your feedback on those as well. And, on the podcast, if you're on a platform or an app that you can comment, please do so on those as well. And then, of course, follow us on social media. Instagram and Facebook are both at Warrior Confidence. We've kind of got that domain now with everything. And that's kind of the ultimate goal. Have that ultimate warrior. I was a wrestler. Have that warrior confidence in order to strengthen your bullyproof armor, in order to become bullyproof, so you can utilize your qualities of a leader, of a champion, to live your best kick in life. Woohoo! Well, I tied all that in, didn't I? Man, oh man. I don't know if I could say that again. Can I say that again? Yeah. Warrior confidence to strengthen your bullyproof armor, to become bullyproof, to utilize your qualities of leadership and a champion to live your best kick in life. All right. It's the first time I've ever really said that. I've wrote out all kinds of stuff, but that's a long list of stuff. But anyway, good stuff, good stuff. Well, folks, if you found value in this, please share it with someone else that you know could benefit. And please continue to get out there, believe in yourself, and do what you were born to do. Help empower lives, help change lives, count your blessings each and every day. And I promise you're going to have more blessings. And, doesn't mean you're not going to have tough times and hardships, but you're going to have that strength, that perseverance to battle through and not give up. Good. All right. Well, I love you. God loves you. Please share that love with the world. And until we talk again, you get out there and do your best, and I promise you'll be your very best. God bless you. God bless your loved ones. Can't wait to chat with you again real soon. Have a blessed day, everybody. Thanks again for listening. Bye-bye. Thank you so very much for listening today. I am truly grateful. My goal is to empower millions of people with hope, faith, and confidence to believe in themselves in order to make our society a happier, healthier, and safer place to live. But I can't do it alone. So if you found value in this message, please share it with someone else who could benefit from it, and by subscribing and leaving a 5-star review. Be sure to pick up copies of my books for yourself and someone you care about at www.warriorconfidence.com. Also, remember to stay empowered throughout the week by subscribing to our YouTube channel and our Facebook and Instagram pages at Warrior Confidence. Thank you again, and have a blessed day.